Welcome to Thieves' Cant, a tabletop gaming podcast, with your hosts, Jeremy Shane and Chris White.
Welcome back and welcome in to Thieves' Cant. It's Jeremy Shane with my number one mother bunny, Chris White.
That's quite an intro there. I appreciate that.
I've had bunnies on the brain all week. It's Easter weekend.
It is?
I've been thinking about all of the fictional bunnies.
No, please go on. Could you provide a comprehensive list of these fictional bunnies?
Well, Peter Rabbit, and obviously the Easter Bunny. Roger Rabbit, a little bunny Foo-Foo.
Yeah.
Bunnicula.
Yeah.
Bugs Bunny.
Yeah.
There are a lot of rabbits in media.
What about who was the samurai rabbit in the Ninja Turtles? You remember him? Like Usagi?
Oh, I have no recollection
Yojimbo.
of this.
You don't remember him?
No.
He was a samurai rabbit. Yeah. You check it out, man. This is your week.
That sounds cool.
Yeah.
And I feel like the gaming world is missing its share of bunny action.
Yeah.
We talked about Riverbank, the new Kobold Press game that's crowdfunding.
Yeah, it's like animal-oriented. Yeah.
Yeah, the cozy RPG, some cottagecore. I imagine that has rabbits in it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Are rabbits an underutilized game feature?
Maybe they are. What are there's the rabbit people in D&D.
I've never encountered these.
Yeah. The game I'm playing in now, one of the games I'm playing in now, there's a woman who's playing one. Heronborn, is that it?
Okay.
They're crazy. Like, they're super fast, and yeah, they seem pretty cool.
Now, are these like friendly NPCs? Are they adversaries?
This is a PC race.
Okay.
Or species, or whatever we call them now.
The Easter Bunny is coming, and in our main segment today, we're going to find out what's in your Easter basket. We're also going to look at a new crowdfunder. If Souls-like video games are too tough for you, maybe you would enjoy them more around the table. So we'll get into that. But first, let's jump into the news. Well, Chris WotC has announced that the new 2024 SRD is going to drop. It's going to drop real soon. April 22nd. We are recording here. I don't think I gave the date at the top of the show, April 19th, Saturday, April 19th. So we're looking at Tuesday, I think, for the System Reference Document 5.2, the tool which helps developers create third-party content using the updated D&D rules engine.
I mean, I think it's pretty desperately needed. We need some more content for 2024, so that'll be great.
This is certainly something that developers have been waiting for. It'll, again, be released under the Creative Commons. Announced for a later date, WotC is going to put out a conversion guide for updating game content from 2014 to 2024. That does not mean that the 2014 SRD is going anywhere. That's still going to be available under both Creative Commons and the Open Game License. We're just getting the new stuff in addition. So, yeah, I would look for a lot of new third-party content coming very soon now that this SRD is going to drop.
The more the merrier.
Right? Bring it on. Bring on the D&D errata. We've got some. This past Wednesday, WotC released a round of revisions for the new player's handbook, the DMG, the monster manual as well. InWorld had a summary of two of the biggest changes, those in the player's handbook concerning conjuring spells as well as the rules for being hidden.
Mm-hmm.
So let's get into that. The Conjure Elemental, Conjure Fey, Conjure Minor Elementals, and Conjure Woodland Beings spells all get upcasting debuffs. So if you're going to cast them using a spell slot of a higher level, they get less attack dice. They decrease from 2 attack dice of a certain size to 1 attack die of a certain size. Several shape-shifting spells that granted temporary hit points, those now clarify that those temporary hit points go away once a spell is cast. I guess there was some confusion over that. As far as the hidden rules, I guess the hide action got some notice during the initial player's handbook release for some loopholes in the rules. The new hidden rules now explicitly state that the hide action grants the invisible condition while hidden, and states what ends a player character hiding, which includes an enemy finding you via a perception check. So some clarification on the hidden rules.
Yeah, these are good.
You a proponent of these tweaks?
I am, and I think a lot of the feedback that I've seen is that with some of these spells, maybe it wasn't enough. I know with Conjure Minor Elementals, still an additional D8, I believe, each time it's upcast. Some people thought that was still too powerful compared to, I think this spell's mainly compared to Spirit Shroud. It's a melee caster. It's on the must-have list. So I think there's still some question there about its being upcast, but definitely a step in the right direction.
So if you're playing on D&D Beyond, the errata is going to show up. You will just fire up your character sheet, and it's all happening. If you are using your physical book, there's a great chance you don't even know that this errata exists.
Oftentimes, I think these changes are already being homebrewed by people. You know, they've spotted the problem, and I know one of the things that's not mentioned is Goliaths. One of their abilities, just if played as written, did absolutely nothing. And so it's obvious that it was intended in a different way, that someone had made a mistake in filling in the blank. So, you know, a lot of these, I think people have already homebrewed out of the game a long time ago.
Yeah.
So.
But at any rate, new software update.
That's right.
In place. Castles and Crusades, which I know you have just dipped your little pinky toe into, Chris.
Yes.
They have released a trio of new source books. You've got the Adventurer's Armory. You've got diagrams and detailed rules for various types of weapons and armor for your heroes. You've got the Monstrous Armory. This book is full of weapons and tools for your bad guys, for like over 40 different creatures, both humanoid and monstrous. So gear just for the bad guys, an entire book for that. That sounds fun. And then the third one, War Mounts, over 40 unique mounts of both mundane and magical varieties. Also includes mechanics for training beasts and for mounted combat as well. So new Castles and Crusades, Adventurer's Armory, Monstrous Armory, and War Mounts. What do you think of your first foray into Castles and Crusades?
I really like what I've seen so far. I think the flavor certainly will be appealing to people who like newer editions of D&D, but I think the power level and the way that some of the mechanics are approached might be fun for people who like older editions of D&D. So it's sort of its own thing, but it's definitely got that flavor. So it seems like a lot of fun. I especially am interested in this book on the mounts. That sounds pretty neat.
Hey, start growing that collection.
That's right.
There you go.
Gotta catch them all.
And finally, one more bit of news. If you live anywhere near or are planning a trip to Universal Studios, be on the lookout for Xanathar. He is in the house. They have unveiled a giant Xanathar puppet that will serve as a centerpiece at Universal Studios' upcoming D&D Secrets of Waterdeep experience. It was actually designed by Jim Henson Studios, so I don't think you have higher renown amongst puppeteers, puppet makers. I don't know what the proper term is, but Henson Studios, obviously a big name. Attendees get to interact with the creature. I'm not sure how so. That sounds dangerous. As part of a new adventure experience, the Secrets of Waterdeep storyline involves aiding the Harpers in thwarting some kind of plot involving Xanathar and his Thieves Guild. Sounds fun.
Yeah, my understanding is just for immersion purposes, Xanathar will disintegrate one guest per event. So,
for the sake of immersion,
just for immersion, right?
Right.
Yeah. Does a beholder's like eye beam disable the use of cell phones or other devices, or is it just strictly magic items?
I think if he wants it to disable
I think it
the
should.
use. He certainly would.
That's a homebrew rule that's definitely going in.
Universal Fan Fest nights, an after-hours event taking place select nights at Universal Studios starting April 25th. I wish I could go. That sounds fun.
It does sound fun.
That'll do it for the news. Let's hop on over to crowdfunding. Yes, hopping on over like a bunny. Taking a look at Bitter Chalice this week. Bitter Chalice, tabletop role-playing game that is described as Souls-like. So if you know your Dark Souls video games, Demon Souls, Bloodborne, these incredibly challenging, difficult to master, but once you do, very satisfying video game experiences, now coming to the tabletop in role-playing game form. Currently on Kickstarter. This comes from the World Anvil Publishing. By the way, this is their 7th crowdfunding campaign. So the World Anvil, they know what they're doing. Bitter Chalice is set in the Blighted Lands, that is, a cursed region around the fallen city of Vathan. Players face constant thirst, hunger, and creeping madness.
I like it already.
It's just like another day.
Yeah.
Right?
Wonderful.
It says, unlike traditional TTRPGs that offer toolkits for endless campaigns, this is a highly curated, map-based sandbox campaign with its own rule set. 2 to 5 players plus a GM. It also has a solo mode, so you get that lonely fun. Sessions are intended to range from 10 for a short path all the way to 40 for full exploration. So I like the way that the game presents itself as scalable for, a shorter campaign, as opposed to, something that might take upwards of a year or longer to complete. I'd say that's a plus. I don't know. What do you think? What's your experience with video games of this nature, first of all?
Well, you know what? I was actually going to ask you, because I know you don't like the sandboxy type games because it's maybe a little too much freedom. Am I speaking for you there? Or?
You're talking about like a video game?
Like in a video game?
In a video game, sandbox, I love the idea, but in play, I do get overwhelmed. Too many options. I don't like the full quest list. I got to do this and this and this and this, or at least that's how I interpret it. I don't got to do any of it, but I feel like I have to because it's there.
So what about in a tabletop?
In a tabletop game, I don't have that problem. I know that I can explore wherever I'd like to. Maybe I've got that open world sandbox feel, but once the narrative is going, you're kind of following the narrative rather than, the borderless, field of play that you find yourself in. If the story's engaging and I'm in it, I'm not going to feel the need to see what's over that mountain just because I can.
Right.
Clearly, underscoring the differences here between a video game and a tabletop experience. Mm-hmm. That's me.
Yeah. Yeah, I always hate that point where you're like, what do we do next? But you're right. If the narrative's driving and things are going as planned, then,
right.
It's good. So, yeah.
Game is doing well on Kickstarter. It's got about 10 days to go. It had a $9,000 goal. It is right around $56,000 right now. So it is funded. And again, with a little more than a week to go. That is Bitter Chalice over on Kickstarter. Sounds fun.
It does.
And with that, are you ready?
I'm not sure this time. But
to be honest, I'm not sure what we're getting into either. But here we go. It's on to our main segment.
What's in your basket?
wow.
What's in your basket? We are going to see what sort of Easter candy the bunny has left behind in our basket and which role-playing game is which candy. So I'm going to throw these out at you. And Chris, you're going to tell me if you agree, you disagree. Maybe you've got a different take on this.
Let's go.
All right. So if we are diving into the basket, it's hard to ignore that big chocolate bunny sitting right in the middle. That chocolate bunny that everything else is kind of revolving around. It starts with the bunny. This is D&D 5e. Mm-hmm. Dependable centerpiece. Everybody knows it. Not everybody finishes it, right?
Yeah.
There might be an ear left in there, come July.
Yeah.
There are a countless number of brands, right?
Mm-hmm.
there are a million iterations of the chocolate bunny.
Yeah.
To me, it just makes perfect sense that this is D&D 5e.
Yeah, it's the centerpiece. I mean, whether you love it or hate it, it's got to be there. There's no denying the influence and the reach of D&D. So I completely agree. Some people love it. Some people find they bite into the bunny and it's thick chocolate all the way through, and for other people it's a hollowed out center. And
well, that's an interesting point that you raised, because I was going to say that, sometimes you grab that delicious bunny and you take a bite and it is in fact hollow. Now you've just picked up your copy of Call of Cthulhu.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So
that's the hollow bunny.
Call of Cthulhu is the hollow chocolate bunny. It's beautiful. It's traditional, but it is hollow inside, and the void will look back into you. Right?
Oh no!
Yeah.
Okay.
Right?
Okay. Well, that's the scary bunny.
Okay. So you've got your D&D, you've got your Call of Cthulhu. All right.
All right. That's fair.
Cadbury cream eggs. Yeah, those are in there.
I love them.
Yeah, you like your Cadbury cream
eggs?
egg?
I do love them.
When I was a kid, I couldn't get enough. They're a little sugar heavy for me now.
They are. They make my face hurt. They're so sweet. But, oh, man, I love them.
But the Cadbury cream egg, this is Vampire the Masquerade.
Really?
Rich, dramatic, a little sticky. So full of drama, it should probably be wearing a velvet cape, a gooey center, heavy hitting, dark and unsettling, if that's your thing.
Yeah, Vampires just it is dramatic. It is
right.
It's not for everybody, but if it's for you, I mean, it's, if you can't get enough of Interview with a Vampire, or Forever Night or something.
I have always been outside the vampire glass, like with my face pressed against it, peering inside. I'm curious what's happening in there, and like I kind of want to come in, but I don't know anybody on the inside that's gonna say, "Hey, come here, check this out."
Yeah.
So I've never played. I think whenever we first noticed Vampire the Masquerade, I think we were under the impression that like it was a LARP 100% of the time.
Right.
Right. And that's not the case, but that was our misunderstanding at the time. And we were pretty heavy, like anti-LARP. And so it just never appealed.
Yeah.
But now, knowing what it is, I would love to play some Vampire the Masquerade.
It sounds fun. Actually, right now, I just want to stand outside Hot Topic and eat Cadbury eggs. But until we can get a vampire game going.
All right, moving on. We're going to stick with eggs. How about the Reese's peanut butter egg?
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's okay. That's my favorite.
Combines a couple of great flavors, right?
Mm-hmm.
Universally appealing, rich, layered, a little messy. It's got a bold structure that stands out, and it holds up. This is Deadlands. You've got your peanut butter and chocolate. You've got your Wild West and horror. They just go so well together. How can you possibly resist?
Man, I love Deadlands.
Yeah.
I really do. I love the idea. The few times we played it, it's been really enjoyable. Yes, you're right. Like, the Wild West and horror, zombies, all of that stuff combined. Oh my goodness. That is a classic. That's a good one.
No Easter basket would be complete without some peeps.
Yeah.
And for peeps, I'm thinking Fiasco. Pure chaos in sugar form, light and fluffy, usually ends in disaster. Starts fun, but 3 turns later, somebody's in jail, microwaves on fire. Yeah, Peeps is Fiasco.
Have we played Fiasco?
We've done a round of Fiasco.
That was the card game.
Yeah.
Okay.
The revised version of Fiasco, the box set that they put out, uses the cards to help you kind of build out the story.
Mm-hmm.
Not for everybody. Some people would even argue that Fiasco is not a role-playing game.
Yeah.
And a lot of people would argue the Peeps are
not
a worthy Easter candy.
Not safe for human consumption.
Right.
Yes, some would make that argument.
Me, I love Fiasco, but I'm not a Peeps fan.
Yeah. I get it, though.
Yeah.
So
Now,
I'm telling you, have you tried the Dr. Pepper Peeps?
you've brought this up before, and I am intrigued.
You got to try them.
I don't relish the thought of a mouthful of marshmallow of any flavor.
Well, and I get it. I'm not a Peep fan, but they taste so much like Dr. Pepper. It's just like consuming Dr. Pepper in a way that you never thought you would. So maybe Fiasco's like that too.
Moving on, Sour Patch Kids. You like sour stuff?
I really like Sour Patch Kids.
Yeah. Sour Patch Kids are Morkborg. Sour, brutal, bold. Not for the faint of heart, but some people crave that pain, especially if you're the kind of person that thinks pain is flavor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd say pain's a flavor.
Yeah, I mean, that's what Sour Patch Kids are. They are candy for people who think that pain is flavor.
These are the people that spend too much time in the hot sauce aisle, isn't it?
So that's your Morkborg. It's going to hit you in the face hard.
Yeah, I'll go along with that. Yeah.
All right.
It's not for everybody. The more interesting people are going to enjoy it. How about that?
Sour Patch Kids, they're kind of gummy-esque, I guess, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's talk about that giant gummy that's in the basket.
Oh, wow, yeah.
You know, like you've got your gummy bears, little bite-sized morsels. No, we're not talking about gummy bear. We're talking about that giant, monstrous gummy egg, gummy bunny this time of year. I don't know what the shape is, but the giant gummy. All right, this is Rifts. Giant everything. Power armor, magic, dragons, guns. It's a lot.
Yeah.
Rifts is a lot, but if you're into some like mayhem in the megaverse,
yeah, so it's
take a bite.
Literally don't bite off more than you can chew, I guess.
Right.
Yeah.
Would you rather eat a giant gummy or a peep?
Oh, Peep.
Yeah, I'm going to go peep on
It's
this
a
one
lot
as
less
well.
commitment. I remember the kids used to have gummy snakes. Somebody would buy them for some reason, and oh my gosh, they were like 4 foot long and thick, and
Just
no.
chewing forever.
Oh yeah, ooh, no, something's wrong about that. So yeah, I'll do the Peep.
All right.
At least it's gritty.
All right, we're getting down to the bottom of the basket here. Only a few items left here.
We're doing good.
What's in your basket? We've got some Pop Rocks.
Pop Rocks. Okay.
Shadowrun.
Really?
Dangerous, chaotic, always popping off. It's like a heist gone sideways. Explosive. I just wanted to include Shadowrun somehow.
I like it. I like it. Shadowrun. I don't have a lot of experience with Shadowrun. It's got a lot of interesting elements. I would say it's definitely explosive. I agree with that. Love some Pop Rocks.
How about some jelly beans? We've got to have jelly beans in the basket, right?
You bet.
Jelly beans, we're talking tons of variety. They're flexible, they're colorful, they're bright, never boring. Got some great flavors. You've also got some duds, but generally there's a little something for everyone. So I kind of use this as a blanket category for your general games like Fate Core, Savage Worlds, GURPS, the Cypher system, the games that you can take this rules engine and you can play any type of game you want with it. To me, that's your jelly beans.
Yeah, you're right. There's a lot of flavor there, a lot of opportunities. Yeah, I completely agree. We've played Savage Worlds quite a bit.
Yeah, I know we had Deadlands on the list earlier,
Yeah.
but I figured I'd separate that one out. GURPS is one. I used to have a copy. I think it was the 3rd edition, just core GURPS book, and that's the only GURPS book I ever owned, and I can't remember what happened to it. I don't have it anymore. GURPS is one I'm surprised that you never got into. It is such a toolkit.
Yeah. I remember GURPS seemed like I was doing homework. Like it was, and it wasn't, I think it was overwhelming. And
Very simulationist.
I think it would have been one of those things where if other people at the time that I was around had interest in it, then maybe I would have pursued it more, but it just felt like an empty effort, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's very involved.
Final item in the Easter basket. The category here is like disguised candy. So we're talking like coins or the jawbreaker that looks innocent. All right. This is paranoia.
Okay.
All right. Looks sweet. Tastes like betrayal. May explode. It is definitely watching you. All right. Eat at your own risk, and do not trust your Easter basket.
Yeah, absolutely. Betrayal is at hand. That's very true. By the way, I would just like to point out that, and this, I think this will speak volumes about my character. The chocolate coins is my favorite type of chocolate.
Yeah?
The cheapest, dirtiest, whatever vat this thing was dug out of and shaped into a coin.
Like,
I love it.
Looks neat and shiny, tastes mid.
Yes, but I love it. It's my favorite. Keep your fancy chocolates. That one's for me. But, yeah, absolutely. A little deception, a little betrayal never hurt anybody. Well, I guess it has repeatedly throughout history, but, you know.
Love some paranoia.
Yeah.
What did I leave out of the basket? What did I miss? And where did I go wrong?
I think that was a pretty good list.
I mean, I'll tell you, there's some obvious candies here that I didn't include. The little robin eggs, malt balls.
Yeah, those are good.
The Whoppers, those aren't in here. Could have been, probably should have been.
Yeah.
No traditional, just dyed eggs in the basket either.
That's true. What's Pathfinder? That should be in here, right? Is that like kind of like last year's bunny that's kind of changing color, but you know, it's still pretty good. I don't know.
Got some bite marks.
Yeah. Yeah. It was forgotten, but it's still pretty tasty.
Yeah.
So,
well, maybe you've got a thought on what Pathfinder should be in the basket, or any other items that you think we might have left out of the basket. What should be here, and what did we get wrong? You can let us know. Email thievescantcast@gmail.com. Find us on social @thievescantcast and on YouTube @thievescantpodcast. Chris, I'm thinking about getting out of the studio and getting around the game table for the first time in many a week. We're playing today.
We are. It's going to be a fun session.
All right.
I hope. Yeah, I'm the DM, so it better be fun.
It's all on you. All eyes on you. We have expectations.
I'll subvert those.
And then what? You going to watch some Blues playoff hockey tonight?
Yeah, that's right. We're going against the Winnipeg Jets. I'm excited. Let's go Blues.
It's going to be a good day. We've got some D&D. We've got some Blues hockey. It's Easter weekend, so I hope you enjoy it. Hey, happy gaming this week. We'll see you next time. For Chris, I'm Jeremy. This is Thieves Cant. So long.
Thank you for listening to Thieves Cant. Email thievescantcast@gmail.com.